back here to talk about LinkedIn and networking and how we can do this coming into the new year. And as I was thinking about today and like, oh, what are we going to talk about? I came up with this game.
Oh, you came up with a game.
Yes. Or I mean, I didn't come up with it.
Okay.
But it's
I was like, wow. You sat there and strategized and like, I'm going to come up with a game just
we're
for the
going to do the floor is lava.
I was impressed, but also like, what?
No, so it's a social media game, I suppose.
Oh, okay. I should know what one of those
100%.
is. So. Okay, great.
Yeah. So it's put a finger down.
Oh, yeah, I know, put a finger down.
Right. And we're going to do it about LinkedIn.
Okay.
And how LinkedIcky you are.
Oh, Hannah. I thought we were going to do it about LinkedIn and just be like, put a finger down if your profile is optimized.
If you're perfect.
Oh, yeah.
Nah.
Oh, we're doing it with X?
Yes.
Okay. I'm scared now.
About how LinkedIcky you are. And if you've done 5, you're a bit LinkedIcky.
Okay, great.
Right?
All right. Humble brag, queen.
Yeah. something along those lines.
Okay, great. Perfect. So am I putting the fingers down?
Yes, let's do it. I'll do it as well. And we could just say like, if we've done it.
Okay, let's do it.
Perfect for the mic.
Yeah.
So put a finger down if you've ever posted I'm happy to announce post on LinkedIn.
I'm going to put a finger down, but I don't think I say I'm happy to announce. I think that I find that so icky. So I find another way to do it. Like last time I posted that little hamster with the bow.
Yeah.
And that was my happy to announce post because I wanted to be more creative. But I think maybe in the past I have done a happy to announce.
That's the thing. I'm going to put one down as well because I think I might have in the past.
Yeah.
Game pillow. So yeah, that's one for each of us. It's just not looking great. Put their finger down if you've ever ghosted someone on LinkedIn. Yeah,
for sure.
Yeah,
definitely.
We've gone through the reasons you can do it. I've probably done it. One too many times when it's been like, oh, I'll just leave that for later.
Yeah.
But it's also something I'm like,
so
it's not okay.
Why have you ghosted people? I would never have you as the ghosting.
More like, I read it, it's not relevant to me at the minute, like salesperson or something. And then I just don't get back to them.
I ghost salespeople all the time. Yeah. Okay. Finger down.
But I actually replied to someone the other day saying, hi, this is how you should sell to me better.
Oh.
So I didn't ghost this person. I instead gave
them feedback.
Yeah, gave them feedback on their cold messaging. So maybe,
oh my God,
depending on how that goes, we'll see if I continue doing that.
Okay, great.
So put a finger down if you've ever spied on your former colleagues.
Oh yeah, all the time. All the time.
I probably have.
And people spy on me all the time. All the time. It's in fact more than half of my LinkedIn. This person has viewed your profile is usually people from an ex company that I don't work at anymore.
Yeah.
So I don't know about you. Like, what's your?
It's very rarely like that. Like that others are stalking me from
You do the stalking then?
Yeah, but so rarely now. I probably did it right after finishing working with my previous colleagues and being like, what are they up to? Now it's only if they ever post and I'll be like, oh, what have they been up to? So yeah, I'm not so stalky, but I'll still.
So the question actually is, when it comes to stalking people, are you following them or are you not following them?
Mainly follow, I think.
Okay, then that's not stalking, because I think stalking is when they're not following you and you keep seeing them pop up in that, like, a person from this X company is looking at your profile. That is stalking to me, because why are you not, like, because sometimes people are curious. Why not make a connection?
Exactly. Why not make
a connection?
Right.
So,
I think that's what avoids it for me, because I'll just connect with everyone.
Yeah, exactly. So I actually don't think you should put a finger down.
All right.
I think you should put your finger back up.
Okay, I'll take it. Thank you.
Yeah. But me, because I'm a shady queen, I look at people that I would never connect with.
Okay, fair enough.
I'm unapologetic about it.
So the next one. Put a finger down if you've ever posted something, noticed a typo, edited it, and then noticed another typo.
Oh my God, Hannah. So me.
This is the reason we struggle even posting in the beginning because it's like, there's always something wrong.
Yeah. I all the time. I mean, I always say this, and I'm happy to admit it. Hannah has amazing grammar, much better than mine.
Still, I keep doing those
but
typos.
This makes me feel good to know that you still make typos and grammar.
100%. So many edited posts. Perfect. So the next one is, put a finger down if you've ever posted, want to know the secret or have I earned my first million?
I don't have a million.
Me neither.
Yet. Because what we put out into the universe, we manifest. So.
Yeah. But will you post that kind of post?
No.
Can
I tell you why?
Tell me why.
I think people are very curious to know how you made your first million, but are they willing to put in the work of actually getting to that million? I don't know. So I feel like that kind of information is for once you know someone. And I'll tell you exactly how I made my million because we're on a one-to-one conversation. I just wouldn't put it out there. I think that's too much of a brag for me.
Yeah, 100%.
Because it's more of, I made a million and it's the number and you know, and it's just
always
kind of clickbaity
for you to buy from me.
It's clickbaity.
Yeah, it's a sales technique rather than
I would
actual advice.
never actually do that.
Yeah.
I like that.
Same.
That we kind of had a chat about that because I find that those are so icky.
Yeah, I don't like them at all, which is why I put it in here. Right, put a finger down if you've ever had LinkedIn Premium and spent all day looking at who's looking at your profile.
That's the best reason to have LinkedIn Premium. I know. There is no other reason to have LinkedIn. Oh, there is. There's loads. I'm being joking around, but LinkedIn Premium, one of the best features is exactly who's looked at your profile, exactly what locations, everything. Yeah, is amazing. But I use it for that. What about you?
I've never had LinkedIn.
Oh yeah, you don't have LinkedIn. You did say this on our first episode when we were talking about LinkedIn Premium.
Exactly.
I think you should try it out. They do have a trial, and see if you change your mind. Maybe do that before the next step.
Yes.
And then we can talk about how you found LinkedIn Premium.
That would actually be really fun. Do it for the pod.
Do it for the pod.
Not do it for the plot. Great. So I'm a no for that one.
Yeah. I've got 5 fingers down already.
You're already icky.
I'm already icky.
Put a finger down if you've ever used AI to reply to comments.
No.
On LinkedIn. Me neither.
Never.
Fair enough if you want to check your grammar, come up with creating a post, whatever. Do you, boo?
Yeah.
That's absolutely fine.
Yeah.
But the comments, I think it's so inhuman. And what's the point then?
Yeah, I agree.
And I actually saw a post the other day.
Yeah.
Well, you tagged me in it, right?
Yeah.
With the
I did
comments being reflecting everything.
Yeah.
And I was like, that's it. It's so boring because all the comments are just filled with people agreeing with you and saying the same thing in other words.
In weird ways as well. You can just tell.
Yeah.
It's very, and I was saying this yesterday to someone about how if we stop calling AI artificial intelligence and just started calling it robots, we'd start to slowly, move ourselves away from thinking that this is actually smart.
Yes.
Because it's very robot. We can tell. So
that is such a good point. That is such a good point.
I would never, ever use artificial intelligence, quote unquote,
equal robots.
I would never use that to respond to a comment, especially because I really believe in the value of someone's post and showing them that I actually read it and making an observation that's not obvious, an observation that they can tell came from me, and an observation that says, I read this and I really value you and thank you for putting it on LinkedIn.
Because we know how much work goes into creating these posts as well.
Never.
Thank you. No to the robots in comments.
No to the robots.
So put a finger down if you've ever used LinkedIn as a dating site.
No. Not for
Don't
dating.
No,
I've never used it for dating, but I've used it out of curiosity and just been like, oh, interesting. And that's it. That's it. That's
yes,
all. That's all.
But that's completely different than like sliding into someone's DMs, which is kind of what I
have never
like.
slid into anyone's DMs on LinkedIn that I am
that's kind of
romantically
what I was like.
interested in.
Yeah.
I have, like I said, looked and just been like, oh,
yeah,
wow. And that's where you work. That's very interesting. And
exactly.
That's it.
I'm 100% with you on that.
Okay,
one. That
great.
is, that's not the same as what I was referring to.
Okay, great. Because my fingers are staying up.
I meant more like, hey, you, like, want to meet up, like that kind of thing, or like you are some really interesting. Do you want to grab a coffee? And then it's not professional, kind of thing.
No.
Yeah. So yeah, keeping those fingers up.
Fingers are up. I've only got 5 left though.
I've got 7. I don't know how this happened. Put a finger down if you send a connection to someone you really want to connect with and being left hanging. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't mind, but I've also left people hanging. I don't know if you've done that.
I very rarely.
Very rarely.
Like, not if I know that they would really like to connect with me, as in like, because you can tell when people are just like connecting for the sake of connecting. But if it's someone who in the same area as me, who I would not like leave them hanging. So when I'm like looking at business leaders and like people like high up in similar industries as me or something like that, and then they don't accept me, I'm like, why?
Why will you not accept Hannah?
Yeah, why we met at this networking event.
Oh yeah.
Just include me in your life.
Yeah.
So yeah, I've definitely had that. And that makes me feel a bit icky because I'm like, wasn't I great enough when we met?
Well, some people just literally do not use it.
Yeah, that's true.
Like it's really, and I realize most of the time I don't take it personally anymore.
Yeah. No, I need to get over myself a little bit.
Yeah, exactly. But if they post things that are really valuable, you don't have to connect. You can always just follow.
Yeah, true.
And that way, that takes away that sort of keenness of having to have them connect back or accept you.
Yeah, that's
you
true.
You can follow. However, they can remove you as a follower, and that is a different conversation.
Yeah, they can, and you can't really message them if you have like, you need to be a connection for that. You can just comment. So yeah. Right, another one. Put a finger down if you've ever not used LinkedIn because it felt icky.
What? Not used it?
Yeah.
It felt icky.
Exactly. So like avoiding being on LinkedIn because it feels too icky.
That counts as No, I've always used it. I've always used it.
I've always used it, but not in the way I'm doing now. So I'm going to put a finger down.
Are you putting it down for that? Because then I'd have to put one down for that as well.
No, you don't have to. Yeah.
Okay. So I'm going to have no fingers left. But I've always used it. I think I've ramped it up. Yeah. But I've always not left my LinkedIn. Like I really do. Yeah, I've always used it.
No, I was actively avoiding posting because I felt icky about me putting myself out there.
Oh,
so
okay.
I think that values my finger down.
Okay, I'm going to put a finger down because there was times where I felt that way too.
Oh, okay, fair enough.
I'm going to be honest. And there was times where I felt like posting was, I was just not, Actually, I've told you about when I used to make drafts and then just delete them.
Yeah, exactly.
So, I'll put a finger down for that. So I understand that, Hannah. Yeah. And that was before we decided to do this pod, right?
Still, I feel quite icky, but now I just push through and do it anyway.
Yeah. You power through. And the more you do it, the less icky it gets.
Exactly. Yeah. And the last one.
Okay.
Put a finger down if you've ever created a podcast about LinkedIn.
This is the ickiest thing.
This is the ickiest thing.
Yeah,
I think it's just below dating sites.
It definitely is. I think people say there's 3 things you do once you're above 30. One is make a podcast. Second one is going running. I don't remember what the third one
marathons and gardening or something.
And gardening or some weird niche hobby.
Yeah.
So podcast. I looked at that and I was like, yeah.
Yeah. Are you surprised you ended up here? In the podcast, we can do that now.
Oh, can I put my fingers down?
But we are both.
I have 2 left.
I have 4 left.
Wondering.
Yeah.
Okay. See, I told you.
I'm not as icky.
Yeah. Am I surprised by what?
That the podcasting and being a podcast host was one of those 3 that you ended up in?
I thought I would have ended up in the marathon group.
You think so?
Yeah,
Really?
Yeah, but I'm actually like, that's what I thought. I thought I would have ended up a fitness enthusiast and not a podcaster, not in a million years.
Oh, I saw myself in the podcast.
Oh, you did?
A group of these 300%.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
I mean, because I like running, but I am not one of those who dedicate myself to marathons. Like I'm more like, you don't have to do it, right? Like in that area. And gardening, I have no interest. So yeah.
Oh, I love gardening. You've come to my house, you've seen my plants. So yeah, just don't have a garden yet. But
I have zero interest in gardening. So
podcasters, it was for you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so yeah, it feels quite natural.
Yeah. I totally understand.
I would have thought you would be in the podcast. Really?
Yeah. I always thought that I was more of a consumer of podcasts than I was a podcaster. It's the same with social. People most of the time see themselves as a consumer, a spectator, more than they do person that gets there, that gets behind the camera and makes the content. So I wouldn't in a million years have thought that I would be the one with the mic in my face.
Oh, right. So. I would have thought that about you though, because as we've explained before, we went to university together.
Yeah.
And of a lot of us, I would have thought you would be one of the podcasters and like,
well, the more you know.
The more you know. Right. So next stage of today, what were we going to discuss a little bit more about? We're sticking on the LinkedIn.
We are. Yeah. So we're going to discuss our do's and don'ts of LinkedIn, which I feel like this episode's give you a lot of value. We're doing do's and don'ts. We're putting fingers down,
which you should do, as well. Like check in on your ex and like how icky you are.
Yeah, exactly. You should definitely. I think we should make a list and post it and be like, how many of these have you done?
Yeah, 100%.
But yeah, do's and don'ts of LinkedIn. Do you want to start?
I can start.
Okay,
I've written mine down.
Are you starting with a do or a don't?
A do.
Okay, a do. And then I'll go in with the do.
Perfect. Because this one's very like current as well. Mm-hmm. So do you make sure that your LinkedIn posts look good on the app? Because LinkedIn has reported that their mobile app accounts for 60% of all its traffic.
Way.
Yeah. So those really long posts that might look good on the laptop?
Yeah.
It's going to exhaust people when they're scrolling on their phone.
But that is super interesting because 60 to 40, that is a near, 50-50 split compared to other social platforms.
True.
It's not, you wouldn't think it's as optimized as the other platforms that are for mainly mobile and 9:16, viewing.
Yeah.
So that is super interesting, which means that this is one of the apps where people actually also do post on their laptop and do view from their desktop.
Yeah. I do that. I do main
desktop.
Yeah, desktop.
Yeah. I'm probably 50-50, both, and I do try and optimize for mobile viewing. The one thing that I want to do more of is 9:16.
Yeah.
But as the platform evolves, I think slowly it will try and push people more that way anyway.
Yeah, I think so too.
That's so interesting.
Yeah.
That's a great stat to know. So what is the do? You think people should or shouldn't?
Do optimize it for mobile.
Do optimize it for mobile.
Because especially if it's like long text and you have a lot of value for your audience and people will not read it all when it's on the phone. If you have to scroll to read a full, post, they won't do it.
Yeah.
So keep it shorter, a bit snappier, and make it spacey. So get in do different paragraphs.
So break it up a bit.
Yeah, break it up a bit because that suits the eye much better when you're looking at your phone. Whilst on a laptop, you get away with a bit more chunky text.
So I think what you're getting at is optimize for mobile because it will still work if it's for desktop.
Yes, 100%.
So that's a great tip. Optimize for mobile, it will still work if it's for desktop. If you do it on your desktop, it will not be the same as it will be on mobile.
100%.
And I am going to just jump in here and add exactly the same for video. Because if you do it for desktop and it's, 16 by 9, which is landscape for people who don't speak numbers. And then it will work for both. But the best thing you can do is start to move into that 9 by 16 because the platform will slowly be transitioning, I'm guessing, more into mobile.
Yeah.
I say I'm guessing because they have said that, but the changes haven't been as fast as I thought.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, I completely agree with you. Yeah. And yeah, we can talk about the video on LinkedIn a bit later because I have thoughts.
You have thoughts.
Yeah. Do you want to do your do?
Yeah.
Do you want to do your do?
My do is actually do use emojis.
Yes, agree.
I love an emoji. But
I agree.
when using emojis, there is a big but. A big but.
And I cannot lie.
I just said big but on the pod. This shows you what kind of podcast it is.
Yeah.
The big but is that people who is for accessibility and people who use screen readers or who are blind. I think a lot of people don't realize when you're using emojis in between bits of copy and content, a screen reader will read that emoji, which it's read as words, and it could be an emoji that's like 3 or 4 words, and it makes your content just really weird to read. The only one that I use are sparkles in between things. Yeah. So I'll put a word in between sparkles, like creativity sparkle. And that's the only time I kind of do it. Yeah. But I've realized there are people who like use emojis and, so use emojis, go for it. Emojis are great. They're really fun. They make content so much more interesting to read. And spacey, like you mentioned earlier. But please don't use them so that they're not accessible for anyone who wants to use a screen reader. Yeah, I love how you cheekily got a do and a don't in there. Yeah, sorry. Okay, do I get a don't in the next round? That's okay. Because I completely agree with this one. Okay. And especially I've read that if you put the emoji at the beginning, like, when you do a list or something, that's especially hard for the reading. Screen reader. Yeah, screen reader. To like detect, and it makes it really confusing for people. Yeah. So if you're going to have them at the end of the sentence or the paragraph and stuff like that. So even though we love those 1, 2, 3, 4, emojis, like maybe just use numbers. Yeah, just use numbers. It's fine. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I like that one. Oh. Yeah, it's a very good reminder. And my next one is a bit vague, but I feel it's quite important. Don't spend your life scrolling on LinkedIn. Engage with the right people, have the right intention as you go on, and leave the app at the right time. So intention is basically the key word in this. Like, okay, what do you want to do? And how would it benefit me to keep on scrolling? Does it benefit me in any way? So maybe have a bit of time limit, and also make sure that you're connected to the right people so you get to consume the right content. So you're not just like reading random people's I'm happy to announce messages. So yeah, that would be a don't, which is also like an advice. Intention, and don't get lost in like scrolling on there. What's your thoughts on that? My thoughts on it is I totally agree, because it's social media at the end of the day. Indeed. And I think that you always have to just take a step back from it and ask yourself, what am I actually doing with this? What am I actually consuming? What am I engaging with? You always have to be asking yourself those questions, because you can find yourself spending a lot of time on there, and it very quickly can shape you or shape certain things in a way that you might or might not want. Exactly. So definitely agree with that. Do take some time away from it. People ask me this all the time. They're like, are you constantly on it? And I'm like, no. Yeah. I'm just very intentionally on it, and I have little bursts, and then I leave it. Exactly. So. Yeah. That was one of my don'ts, by the way. Oh, so don't spend too much time. Don't spend too much time. Yes. So yeah, now you can pick a do or don't. Am I trying to pick a do or don't? Don't. But it might be a bit controversial. Is everything okay?
I was looking at the time.
Okay. Don't. I'm going to go with don't have holiday photos.
Ooh, interesting.
Not as your profile picture. As your profile picture.
Oh, right.
Not
so
as
not
like,
in your post.
Oh, yeah, have them on your post.
Right. Okay, because I was like, this is controversial.
When I say holiday pictures, I'm saying that as in any picture that's not of, like, this is what you're putting out there. If that's all you have, that's fine.
Yeah.
I don't want to say don't use it. But I do think that I'm always like, don't be serious on there. It's all fun and games. I agree. But like, let's all, be less icky. Let's be more icky or whatever. But I think that with that, we have one little circle of and that's it.
Maybe don't do a beach photo.
Maybe don't do it doesn't have to be a beach photo. Anything that's a bit out partying.
It needs to represent you as a businesswoman or a business leader or like
or
in
a creative or whatever you are. Yeah. It should represent 100%. You, but in the context, it shouldn't just be like I didn't have anything else. I used this.
I completely agree with that.
I know some people are going to be like, oh, I'd even no photo in that sense sometimes can be better than, because I understand why people might not want a photo for whatever reason. But I do think that we have only one little, it's not face. That's my one.
Yeah.
Please don't do that.
Fair enough. I agree with that one. Yeah. And then like in the feed, if you're posting about your holiday, like finally taking some time off, go for it. Yeah. We love those.
In the feed, I love people putting their personal lives in it. But that one, I'm like,
yeah. Awesome. I'll do the next do. And it is, we've talked about this before, but do speak like a human, not a robot. And like I'm obviously passionate about this because words are my thing. It's what I do. But also it just disconnects so much from what we're trying to do on this platform, which is connect to people, network, get more clients, get our message out there. And if it's all robots everywhere, what's the point? Again, it's with intention. Mm-hmm. Like your intention should be to really connect to people. Do speak like a human.
Yes.
Don't speak like robots.
Love it. Love that one.
Now I cheekily got a do and don't in there.
Yeah. I think it's the do's always come with a caveat of what not to do.
Yeah.
So
100%.
It's totally natural. Don't worry.
Yeah.
Very easy.
Yeah.
So am I on a do or don't? What would you like?
Pick.
What would you like? Oh, let me see. Okay. I'm going to go for another don't. This one is more relatable to my first don't, which was which was my first do use emojis. Yes. But this is a don't use crazy text. Crazy text. I don't know if you know what crazy is. Like, you know, when people want to do bold, or they want to do like, curly, like certain kinds of font or italics. LinkedIn isn't optimized for that yet. So when you are using that crazy text or you're copying, it's the same thing again on accessibility. Yeah. It makes your posts less accessible. Why?
Love this.
And then on top of that as well, just for, I think, even in search engine and optimization, it's not going to work.
This is what I was going to say.
Text.
Yeah. Which is
I don't know what else to call it because I'm a 90s kid. So we used to go to the crazy text website and just pop it in, or crazy fonts or whatever it's
and
called.
then you got it for Lunarstorm or MSN. Yeah.
For MSN. Exactly. So
that was networking.
Networking back in the day.
Completely other level.
Bebo, high five.
Oh my God.
But don't use that.
Don't use that. No.
And I see really professional people who are like, they have amazing content. I'm like, how do I tell them?
Yeah.
And that was part of when I did my LinkedIn Glow Up Sesh.
Yeah.
Everyone who used that kind of sort of fonts or text or whatever it's called, I just said to them, by the way, did you know that this is inaccessible? Do this instead. And a lot of them have taken that on board, and they were like, oh, I had no idea. It's one that people don't know. Yeah. But that's a don't. Please don't do that.
Yeah. And especially for their SEO purposes as well. Like if people search, if you have your keywords in those bolds or crazy text, it's not going to show up. No. So it's really important for your business if you have a business.
Exactly. And so. That's a big glaring don't.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Awesome. I have one more don't.
Okay.
and it is don't be too vague. And if you're running a business or if you're trying to get a job, I get that you don't want to rule out people. But if you're accessible to everyone, you're accessible to no one.
Yeah.
And it's so hard to recommend you, to refer you, if you don't have a specific niche or people that you work with. If you're like me, I'm a copywriter. If I write for everyone, would you be able to be like, recommend me to anyone?
No.
It's so hard. But then if I instead say I work with photographers, which I do quite a lot, you'll be like, oh yeah, I have 3 that I know, and I'll bring it up when I talk to them next time. Otherwise, you can't talk about me in every conversation you have. So don't be too vague. Be specific.
Oh, that's a really good one.
Yeah.
Would you then not suggest that people do you think they should niche down then?
Yes.
In that sense, niche down.
Yeah.
Okay, because I think on other platforms, the observation I can make is to niche down, but also allow yourself some room to breathe.
Yeah, of course.
Also,
yeah.
Because you never know, like maybe another opportunity might come along.
But then you don't say no.
But you don't. Yeah, then it's up to you.
Yeah,
it's the ball's in your court. So
exactly.
I agree. Don't be too vague. I do think that that's a really good one.
Yeah.
On adding on to that with social, it's very good to just have some core pillars.
Yeah.
Just give yourself be like,
100%.
This is what I post about.
Yeah.
These are my core pillars. This is what I'm going to continue.
Love
so
that.
I'm able to, and I think that that's a good way to put that so that you can frame it and make it much easier for yourself. And with pillars, like 4 or 5 is fine.
Yeah.
You can go with even less.
Exactly.
Yeah. But
dream client, dream customer profile, and key pillars. There you go.
Yeah.
That's
perfect.
it. That's the only
nice and simple.
being specific you need really to make it a strong profile that people can recommend and can refer to. Yeah. Do you have a last one?
Do I have a last one? I think I did have a do. Give me a second to remember what it was. I think my last do is do be authentic.
Yes.
I think authenticity is everything. Do be yourself.
Yeah. Completely agree.
Yeah. Which kind of might be contradictory to the fact that don't use holiday photos earlier. But
it was for your profile picture though.
For your
it's
profile
different.
picture though.
Yeah.
But if that is authentic to you and you are a world traveler and that is your profile and that's one of your pillars, which is, or the things that you want to show to everyone and say, look, I work by, go ahead.
Yeah.
It makes sense in that context.
Yeah.
So I don't want it to be, I literally, there are rules and then there are no rules too.
Yeah.
That's why we're saying do's and don'ts at the same time. Right?
Yeah.
But do really be authentic.
Yeah.
Be you. A lot of times when you go to a profile and someone's being authentically themselves, you just, I don't know, you light up, right?
Light up, you connect, you want to consume their content.
And even if they're not in the same sort of, interest group of what you do, or you're just like, oh, this person just seems fabulous.
Yeah.
So
completely agree.
Be authentic.
Love it.
Please do be authentic.
Yeah. How are
you